Hey, what's up out there, online community? And thanks for stopping by and checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where I talk sports for the fans, oftentimes with the fans. Today, I'm very excited because we've got a great group of people that are going to be joining us to talk about one of the things that you have been asking for, and that is boxing. So, you guys have asked for it. I went out and got some fans that are excited about talking about boxing. I'm excited to hear from them. But before we get into it, you know how we do it. Grab your favorite libation if you've got them. Raise your glass, and we're about to get into a straight no chaser.
Cheers.
Water.
Salud. Now, one of the things I want to have a conversation about, I know Mike Tyson has got the boxing world a buzz. I know that there's a lot of information out there, and people are excited about boxing again because Mike Tyson has put videos out there. Now you got Evander Holyfield hitting the pad, showing his work. There's a buzz about boxing. Before we even talk about that, I want to ask you, pound for pound, and we're going to go around, pound for pound, who do you think is the best boxer of all time that A, you have seen, and B, if you have not seen this person, based off of what you heard, what you've seen in their overall record, who would you say is the best fighter, pound for pound? I want to start with one of our newest members. Let's start with Tang, and then we're going to go to who I like to call the first lady of the South suburban sports scene, Miss Tina Ward. So let's start with Tang. Who do you think is the best pound for pound boxer? Who's the GOAT?
Yes. No. No.
Okay. I don't know. What's his record? I Googled him. He didn't show up. I don't know. What's that record looking like?
Okay, since you're allowing us to go with cats that we haven't seen, the first name that comes to mind would be Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson. Why is that? Thoughts on Sugar Ray?
I've seen clips, and based on his, I believe he won over 100 fights. Charismatic, was one of the very first black celebrities. Well, I used to say very first because he was in the 50s, but he made that crossover from from being loved by blacks and then being mainstream. And he was a very skilled fighter. I've seen clips. So he would be the guy I'd never seen, but that dude right there, that guy's the GOAT. He the GOAT.
Hey, that's Muhammad Ali. I know him. Muhammad Ali.
I can't wait for him to come to America too.
Mama name him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
No.
Tina, how about you? Who is your GOAT when it comes to the boxing world? And I think you've got a unique story to tell. First of all, tell your story and how you became interested in boxing. You've got a unique story to tell.
I do. My father, he thought he was going to be the next Muhammad Ali in the 60s. He was a professional boxer. He tried his hand with it in New York. He was training with some of the greats in the Bronx. But he soon, I think once he got knocked down a few times, he was like, no. It's not for me. I got family. I'm not that dedicated. So it takes a certain type that understands the mentality or the mental capacity to become a boxer, first of all. So that was my introduction into boxing. We're gonna watch this and you gonna like it. So that's kind of how I got into it. But then when I understood the not only the charismatic of Muhammad Ali, but his footwork and his ability to get into his opponent's head. And you kind of use that in all walks of life when you think about it. That's basically to tear down your opponent, is to find out where their weak spots are and figure out a way how to knock them out. That's not somebody that comes in, which Mike Tyson is a great fighter, but he'll never be the GOAT because his mentality is my punch is gonna knock you out, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna boom and it's over. boxing is not about that. A lot of it is weighing down your opponent. And Muhammad Ali understood that. So whether you're looking at my feet, if you're looking at my feet, you're not looking at this punch I'm about to knock you out with. So that in itself to me was just poetry in motion. So he will forever, when he said he was the greatest, he was, and he still is, as far as I'm concerned, in heavyweight, class of fighter.
Great. Mr. Simon, I know you're one of our boxing aficionados. You along with Big Frenchie. Who's your GOAT?
It's a lot of really.
Can you even narrow it down?
Yeah, it's hard. I'm gonna. No. I got. I like Ali for a couple of reasons. I think technically, from a technical standpoint, from an IQ standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, Ali has to be number one. I think, unfortunately, what happens is that we've seen it with everybody. We might be judging Ali if there's a hiccup in giving him the number one spot. It's because we remember him when he fought Leon Spinks.
Yeah.
You don't judge him based on his loss to Frazier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
And if you never saw that fight, it's worth YouTubing it to see it. Frazier's no joke. So it's not. I don't have to look towards somebody who has an unblemished record to have greatest ever status, because there is no shame in losing to Joe Frazier and then, of course, redeeming yourself.
You can go back to Sonny Liston.
But the testimony to why Ali is the greatest to me is not so much him, beating Frazier again or those, because he had a nemesis, Ken Norton. Ken Norton was,
Ken Norton was amazing. He's a great fighter. He was.
But when beating George Foreman in his prime, is like climbing Mount Olympus. That was Mount Olympus at the time, because you remember what Foreman did to Frazier.
I do.
Right. What Foreman did to pretty much everybody.
Right.
So if I got to go with a number one, I go pre-Spinks, Muhammad Ali, because I think it's unfair to judge them when they're not in their prime, because
I agree.
When they're at the pinnacle of their careers, that's when you judge them. You don't judge them when they get there. Beating and Father Time, that's undefeated, has taken its toll on them.
Right.
Whereas at his prime, and we give him another heavyweight, that will basically trump Muhammad Ali. And he's lost. He lost to Frazier. You got Ken Norton. You got those guys. But overall, Ali. If I'm looking at heavyweights, I have to go with Ali.
So just so you know, we don't use the word Trump on here. We say number 45. Number 45. Them.
Well, you notice I stuttered.
45.
45. Yeah, we don't say Trump. Even if we play Wade.
I did stutter though when I said it. Right?
Is when you're playing big.
Okay.
Y'all don't want none of that either. You don't want none of that either. So I don't want that smoke.
Don't matter.
So yeah, that's my answer. If I got to pick one,
your GOAT,
Muhammad Ali.
Okay, Big Ken, and I'm gonna wrap that piece up with Frenchie. But Big Ken, who's your GOAT? And it doesn't be any division. I know we talked about the heavyweight division, Ali, but it could be anywhere. And who would you say pound for pound is your GOAT?
I'm gonna give you two fighters. They never met each other. One of them was dead by the time that one rose to prominence. Boxing is always, or is considered a sport where you've got to fight one opponent. These two fighters I'm about to name, not only did they have to deal with their opponents, they also had to deal with a society that didn't look at them as black men as equal. So not only did they have to fight the opponent in the ring, they also fight a society that didn't accept them. At the time, blacks were being lynched, killed, you name it. My two fighters, one that I've seen, one that I never seen, that I consider the all-time GOATs. Number one, Muhammad Ali. Number two is Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson. I agree.
So two black men who there's never going to be any fight like those two. They fought so many opponents in and out of the ring, and they were still able to be champion, the best to ever do it. And those two is who I would consider the GOATs. Jack Johnson and Muhammad Ali.
let me say this. I wish Straight No Chaser had a sponsor because I would give you something. Right now, I got nothing to give you. So, salute. Great call with Jack Johnson.
Good
Nice
call.
call. Nice call. Nice call.
Right, I agree. That's a good one.
Notice
I love
Straight
right.
No Chaser had no sponsor. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Hey, and real quick, Jack Johnson, when he was fighting, there was no limit on rounds.
Absolutely.
He fought till the other dude just couldn't get up anymore.
Whoever fell.
Right. So, I mean, you really need to take that in consideration. That's a good call,
Guys,
KB.
you know, I would be remiss. I understand Jack Johnson, but I mean, Joe Louis was there too. I just
Sure.
okay. He was I will give him. He was the prequel to Muhammad Ali.
Sure.
All right, so he kind of warmed us up. All it took was what, another 50 years? But
I know.
there's still hope for the heavyweight division. All we have to do is wait another 50 years.
But you know what? But here's the good thing. There's a photograph. I think, you know, Joe Louis. You know, it's a picture with him, Muhammad Ali, and one more person. I can't remember. But I'm like, okay, well, he should be retired now. He should, you know, give the ring some. I respect that photo because it's like when you're no longer great, it's okay to be amongst other great men. And I think that, or whoever it is, the next title. And I think, but to me, Muhammad Ali took it to lengths that nobody else would have the capability to do what he did to boxing. A black man being, you know, saying.
Well, the foundation was set and he took it next level. So I completely agree. Big Frank, how about you?
Okay, so I'm gonna split it up. I'm gonna say the greatest icon that ever stepped into the ring was Muhammad Ali. So I'm gonna qualify. He's the greatest icon with the skills, the championships, and everything. But pound for pound, the GOAT of boxing that I've ever seen. And my grandfather, Gold Gloves. His brothers were Gold Gloves. We grew up having to watch films. As I go on now on YouTube, I pull up his fights. This guy was 178 and 19. In 1 month alone, he fought 22 times in a month. Not 50 and 22 times in 1 month. Think about it.
Archie Moore?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, people forget about him a lot. You're right.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson, unbelievable.
Phenomenal.
You talking about knockout power going backward. You're talking about a guy that went from the junior middleweight, welterweight, actually junior welterweight, all the way up to light heavyweight. Dominated everybody. It's the guy that Muhammad Ali patterned his whole style, including white trunks. He patterned his whole style out to Sugar Ray Robinson, and then out the ring, he pretty much owned strips of Lenox Avenue. He owned Harlem. I mean, everything. He was, I think his footwork came from the fact that he was a dancer, a professional dancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This guy, he was unbelievable before his time, and just the record alone, like Paul said, I'm not going to judge him on the 19 losses because if you fight 22 times in a month,
right,
you're going to lose. So he put himself out there but for him to be that kind of fighter, I've never seen a person as skilled to this day that has his complete skill set. And we talk about what era from what era. I think Sugar Ray Robinson stepped into this era and knock every welterweight out there is, because I don't see anybody, and I haven't seen anybody as good as he was. I mean, to take it from my grandfather, who I respected, his brothers, there was only one brother that didn't take Sugar Ray Robinson. He took a great Henry Armstrong, who was great as well. But for me, it's Sugar Ray Robinson, and then there's everybody else.